Everyone. Okay, so we call the meeting to order. It is 7:03. Was that right? 3? Okay, everybody received the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
The adjournment at the end is a motion, and also executive session will be a motion. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, I will have to make sure we include that, Amanda. Move into executive session.
And then we have to adjourn the meeting after that.
Yes.
You're right. Okay, we will do that. Right adjourn that meeting. Okay, public comment. Seeing no one from the public, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Amanda.
Well, I did not write them, but they look pretty good to me. I didn't
That's the best way, isn't it, man?
Thanks, Mary, for filling in. But unless anybody has any major objections or minor objections, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
The only thing that caught my attention, and I know I'm not even supposed to talk, but, is Carrie's real first name Karis? Oh, that's a typo, so it should have been K-A-R-I. Yeah, under the, personnel memorandum, it says Karis.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Wonderful. Wow, good. I didn't even find it. I don't remember where.
Top of page 5, which is personnel.
Yes. Motion.
That's correct.
Yeah. Her name is spelled correctly elsewhere.
Okay, so any other changes, corrections, additions? I will entertain a motion. Was that yes, corrections?
Move to accept, corrected.
Approve the minutes as corrected. Okay, any discussion on that? Second, that'd be Charlie. All those in favor? You opposed? No. Unanimous. Thanks a lot. And again. Okay, now we come to treasurer's reports. I turn it over to you, Katie.
So I included some anecdotes according to all of the reports. Main point being that the library is in good financial standing, and then you'll notice in the report some of the line items that are higher than the 36% of the year, which is complete. Then some of the larger expenses in both the warrant and the off warrant. In terms of the budget committee, Jill and Lynn and I met yesterday to, it's been, every time we've met, it's kind of been like, okay, this is where we're at, and then new things come up and everything kind of needs to get ripped apart and put back together. And so yesterday, it was a very, very preliminary look, and we ended up speaking about other topics. One of the objectives being that we would like to simplify how the accounts are organized, and that the goal is to make the budget more easy to understand for all of the board members, myself included. And so we talked about some options for that. Jill's going to look, she's going to take that into consideration, and also some of the new information that has come to light, and rework the information. And we will meet again on Wednesday in hopes of formalizing something that we can bring to the budget committee at the next meeting, which will be May 30th on a Tuesday. And then other than that, just the motions to accept the financials, the warrant and the off warrant, unless anyone has any questions.
It's okay, I will entertain a motion on the off warrant, and let's just make it. Michael? The motion to accept the off warrant in the amount of $111,479.77. Any discussion on that? Any questions about the off warrant expenses? Not us, I can do, second. Everybody second it, that would be Mary. Now any discussion? None, so all those in favor of accepting the off warrants? It passes unanimously. Well, now I will entertain a motion to authorize the president to sign a warrant dated May 12th, 2023, in the amount of $49,293.21. Anybody want to make that motion? A second? Michael? Any discussion on that? Yeah, I'll vote. All those in favor, thank you. Every unanimously passed. Okay, and the financials with the 36% of the year over. Who wants to make that motion? Happy Mary. To approve the financials with 36% of the year completed, and I have a second from Amanda. Any discussion, any questions? Okay, a vote, all those in favor? Unanimous and passes. Okay. Now we'll go to committee reports. A lot of committees on the list. Okay, admin committee, Michael.
Okay, the admin committee met last Thursday. And we discussed several items. I did some minutes, and they are included in the packet. Update, real quick update, the backflow preventive project is underway. Basically waiting for materials to come in so we can do the final scheduling. Building condition survey also underway. There was a little lag there because Jay had some issues, health issues, and so there was a little lag, but he's working through them, and they are now in that final sort of documentation stage. Attached to this with an interruption by services committee minutes is a report from Jay. Work progress update that they have. That was supposed to be behind our report. The AUD submission has been made, was made last week, so that's done. Construction grants, the 2019 grant has been completed construction-wise. Jill is doing paperwork that will be completed by June 30th, which is the deadline. 2023 application, we are looking at assistance financially for that. We are going to apply for it, and it will be for some of the immediate work that is required or recommended by the building condition survey. And depending on what grants we might get, we're now looking at a couple actually. Besides, one in addition, some money in addition to the other will, I think, affect the scope of work for that. Finances, budget, we'll talk about budget, I assume, at some point. But funding requests have been sent to Rensselaer County, New York State Senator Ashby, and then we also brought in the possibility of publishing Assembly Member all three. And Lynn is really leading that, and we'll continue to follow up.
As we could, one to Rensselaer County was for next year. The one who Senator Ashby was for the current state school year. They have a pile of money that they have some discretion over now that the state budget has passed. McDonald would be the same way, this year. The April 1, 23 to March 31st, 24.
Jill filled us in on personnel updates, and I'm sure we'll have further updates today. And Skodak funding, the next step in Skodak is we're to put together some concepts on how Skodak funding might happen, what options and so on. But quite honestly, with everything going on, we haven't done very much, and we've pushed it off to July, August timeframe. Basically pushed it off. That's it.
Any questions for Michael?
Mike, the SCODA, is that to establish the committee for?
There were, yes, we talked about a committee and getting some people on the committee, and when we met with them. And so to sort of look at it, which would include members from SCODA.
I'm planning to reach out to him. The town supervisor probably later this month, early next month, just to say this is where we are, but we aren't planning to meet till July.
We're basically a month behind with everything.
I'm planning to just drop an email or a letter that just says they haven't forgotten, we're really anxious and.
Yeah, he was gonna give you some names,
He
right?
was, right. And I mean, I could ask that at that time. Services committee, that's you, Mary.
I don't know if everyone got a chance to read the minutes. It's a little late this time around. So we discussed strategic planning and where we are, and we're on target with Maxine and Erica. They've done a wonderful job keeping everything on track, considering all the little bumps in the road that we had, or they had. So the work group is meeting again tomorrow. We've had our first meeting. That first meeting was to work on developing an updated vision for the library. And so our group collaborated, and I guess the info got sent to Maxine and Erica. So tomorrow we'll hear from them, I suppose, on what they think of our suggested vision. And then we're going to be working on service priorities, which I did have a question for you as we are going through what they gave us samples. Do they also have what our current service priorities are? Because I wasn't sure if they used some of that to make these as we move forward. I didn't know. But it's a pretty fascinating process. I mean, that's my minutes, but it's very interesting how the group is, we're working very well together, and just to see what was done in such a short period of time by the consultants, gathering information, comments, positions from the community, from the advisory council, from the focus groups. So it was very interesting, and they gave us an idea of where the community sees the library, the needs for the library, and where the library sees what needs to happen in the library. And so that's kind of what we're working on, pulling those things together and making it a very neat process. And then at the end of July is when the final presentation by the consultants will be made to the full board. What are new?
Is that going to be separate from our July meeting?
I believe it is. It's a blue, there's gonna be a joint committee meeting.
Okay.
I forget the exact date, July, whatever the. Well, I think it's in our, it's on the last page.
Yes, it is.
Maybe it's not.
No, that's in September.
Joint meeting, oh, that's.
So they told us in the July, but this says.
Yeah, this has September 11th.
Okay.
Because I think at one point when it got pushed, we thought the whole thing might get pushed. So it's now scheduled for September 11th.
Okay, so correct that in my minutes, say July, so it will be September.
Doesn't need to push
Yes.
that
Yeah, there's a whole host of reasons. Yes.
And it has to do with the committee advisory group and everything else, but
Yeah,
when
we're good.
when we rescheduled it, that was the rescheduled date.
So any questions on the strategic plan? Policies, based on one of the priorities going on right now, particularly for Jill and the library, some of the policies, we are able to address them at this point. But they're on our agenda to continue with that. The next policies that we're going to be reviewing outside of the staff, we have a programming policy, a patron conduct policy, which is going to merge the disruptive behavior and code of conduct. And those policies already exist. So when I say working on the policies, many, if not all of these exist already, we're just revising them to update as needed. Confidentiality of library records, we need to review it. We also recognize we've not yet dealt with the open meetings law with respect to our group and meeting and what constitutes, what constitutes acceptable virtual attendance. We have to have that as a policy. And one of the other things that popped into my head, I mentioned to Jill and Lynn, was the capital reserves policy. We have to do that as well. With regard to the staff manual, that's something that's being updated. It's the employee staff manual, and so we don't create those policies per se. Those are related to the employees, but as a full package, we will step forward as well or consider it. We also discussed, based upon and I think Cammie went to this session as well. Lynn had gone to a session regarding public hearings and public comments and
Responding to a challenge before the challenge hits.
Yeah.
It's like, how does the library respond to a challenge?
yeah, and so to have a policy in place for that, and the library does have policies in place for challenging materials, and we worked on it last year, actually, if you remember. And we revised it last year, and there's a form that people can submit. Jill is the person that considers those requests for material challenge. But we recognize we need to work on having a policy in place for public comment. Like we have a section in our agenda for public comment, but we have nothing that really dictates how long does somebody have for public comments, and also for our public hearings, which are budget hearing, and this is a public hearing. Just wanted to have a little bit of protocol on this. So Jill was going to send teams a couple samples for the services committee to work on, and we're going to collaborate through teams because we don't have committee meetings for the next 2 months. So we're going to work on that and then hopefully bring that policy to the board, or bring a draft policy to the board for consideration. MOU, the MOU status as far as, no, it's all signed. And there was just some formatting changes. That's done now, okay. So that's done. And that's the, I'm sorry, that's the, between the library and Friends. And then we had some miscellaneous discussion regarding changing the time of our meetings, and I think admin then entertained moving our meetings back on the half hour, so that Amanda's had an employment change, and that way it makes it easier for her. Easier, she wouldn't be able to get here otherwise.
I'll do it on my house.
We'll be testing out that virtual policy.
Yeah, right.
Via Bluetooth.
Committee members so that we can have our meeting. So that was the purpose of that. So now we're going to be meeting 5:30 to 6:30. And I think that was basically
Ask questions?
Yeah, and so, I mean, the only follow-up, I mean, I think everyone knows, but, so now from here on out for the rest of the year, that's why there were so many dates and times in the agenda, is that it changed all the service committees to 5:30 to 6:30 and all the admin from 7 to 8 meetings. Thanks, Mary. Yeah. Okay, do you have anything to add, Katie, on the budget committee or not really?
Not really at this point, it's all very preliminary, but like I said, Jill is working to get some numbers together, and then we'll meet Wednesday so that we can hopefully kind of shape that up to present to the committee, with the objective in mind of also simplifying how the information is presented so that the accounts are a little more streamlined and less confusing. So we're not there yet, but we'll get there.
When you say Wednesday, you mean tomorrow Wednesday? Or?
No, next Wednesday, we're meeting. We've had a few meetings, but it seems like every time we meet, it's like circumstances have completely changed and undone anything that was already done. So it's been like starting from scratch every time that we've come back to the table. And so now it seems like things have settled a bit and there's a little bit more that we know for sure. There's still pieces that are not definites, but there's more that we know for sure. So it'll be a little bit more possible to work up some numbers.
Thanks, Katie. Charlie, do you have anything to add on facilities?
The only one to add on the building condition survey, just draw to attention, the things that Jake flagged in there, kind of highest priority are the exterior of the building. Reading through it, that's like where the roads.
Well, they said that they still had to come do some roof assessment and some window assessment. Has that happened this week or not yet?
I haven't heard that.
Okay. So I turn it over to you, Jill.
The last meeting. A lot of things have shifted and changed. Carrie's last day was Friday. Molly's last day was the Friday before that, so we said goodbye and all of that. Posted a bunch of positions, both the positions that we were filling prior to knowing that they were leaving, as well as those positions. And we've completed interviews now, and we have 2 offers on the table that we're working out. And actually 3 offers on the table that we're working out. 1 offer that will go on the table tomorrow. So we're moving forward with a lot of these positions. I thank our staff because it's impacted multiple departments and we've pulled together on a very quick time to get these positions posted, interviewed. And thank you, Lynn and Mary, too, for jumping in on interviews for the admin assistant position. So we've had some good applicants and some we have some promising things on the table for the head of youth and position, for the part-time librarian position, the part-time circulation position. We're still in the very initial stages for the full-time librarian. And we have also, we've gone back and forth with IT and where we're going with filling the head of digital services position. And where we have landed is, we posted a full-time librarian position to do the digital teaching, the public teaching and staff teaching, the librarian work that she did. So we have a full-time position, librarian 1, not librarian 2 posted. We have, we're working with Selena, who is a library assistant and was working under Carrie, assisting her with some of the IT infrastructure stuff, as well as working in the circulation department and doing adult programming. So we've pulled her off of public service. It's really tricky. She's wonderful in public service. She's also wonderful behind the scenes. And right now we really need her, and she's been fantastic. So we have pulled her back to really handling our networking with our current IT consultant that Carrie has consulted with, and a potential new IT consultant that offers more. So Carrie, we did that before Carrie left. Carrie Selena and I met with both consultants. Unfortunately, what we had hoped was to have a full MSP, managed service provider contract, is really not feasible financially right now. So we're working on some alternatives. So in the meantime, over the next few weeks, Selena is just managing this transition, and we are kind of landing, approaching things and seeing what we don't know. And Jeff is our, AccuNetworks, our current IT consultant, is right there for when we call. He will prioritize us. So that's good to know that we have that backup. And luckily, Selena does have experience with our network, so it's not starting from scratch, which is really wonderful. We will, once we're staffed and she's got a good handle on what's going on, she will be doing some more training, and we will sort of throw her into. Just as Carrie did over time, grow into her into this position, and we will supplement with outside IT. But that's the current plan, but it has had significant impacts on budget for 2024, because there's all kinds of information that just keeps, I mean, the numbers are significant. Larger than any other, very significant numbers for outside IT. So we've had to be creative, and I think we have a good plan in place, and we've got a good team. So I'm thankful for where we're going, for the team that we have here and where we're headed. I think Michael reported on a lot of stuff, the building condition study, the backflow of the renter. I did get word that it looks like the equipment should come in next week, so sometime in the next week we will be scheduling the back office renovation. That project has been scheduled for the end of the month. That will require the drive-through to be shut down for several days. That's support. It's going to require painting of the back office, relocating staff that are back there right now. Will relocate in the evenings for a week while that's being done. Painting, patching, electrical work, bulk work, and it's the back offices and the drive-through window. Yeah, so only that, the drive-through window is not getting complete renovation. There's still some things back there that to be fixed or the flooring and the window with the
Will the Dropbox still be accessible to patrons or?
The Dropbox will be accessible to patrons, but the pickup will not be able to happen there. So that'll be closed down for the weekend.
Yes, we big gun to tell people
That will go in the weekly. Yeah, so we have a PR to get all that information out. Let's see. So we had staff development day at the end of the month in April, and we were able to train staff on our new IT policies and the cybersecurity training that we needed to do. We also trained on the book banning and went through some different scenarios there, the book banning, and of course we had the strategic planning. That was a really successful staff day, and it was really nice to have Carrie and Holly there too. So it's a great thing to help them there.
I just wanted to, you said you had 3 offers, potential offers.
Yeah.
Can you say what positions those are for?
Yep. We have had an offer on the table for the head of youth services, the part-time librarian, and the administrative assistant. I've had some unofficial yeses, but it's hold off on making that official until it's really official. So we're working. Library expedition, I brought this in as a plug because we haven't signed up yet, it's not too late, April 3rd to July 31st. It's been really fun. Lots of people, really. You can go to any desk and get a stamp, and the stamp is our library logo. It's really cute, it's very cute. Volunteers, we have, despite not having a full research staff, operations are going on. We have summer reading. We're pretty well planned for summer reading. We will have a lighter schedule with some of our programming just because of capacity. We have a lot of outside people coming in to do some of the programming and some of the other things that we would typically put on the schedule. We're gonna hold off and do some pop-up programming in addition as capacity. So that's gonna help this transition.
You gonna get the tent again?
We are not getting the tent. This year. We have volunteer training and we have 4 trainings set up in the month of June, and we have a lot of teams signed up already for that. Which is great.
The volunteer sessions, you don't sign up for, right? You don't register for the volunteer training?
I think you just come.
You just come, right? And the application comes on June 1st, the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
It says, I'm on the website now, I started looking.
we have a lot of people who have been talking about it.
Gotcha.
General brothers. So it's I think it'll be, we're back to normal business with. Programming, we had 20 adult programs, 328 people, last month in April, 22 kids programs, 13,304, 2 all ages programs with 98 people and 1 teen program with 30 people. A lot of people could still come in through the door. Some of the numbers are slightly lower because we were closed for the book sale time, so that always impacts our numbers a little bit, but still really great numbers for programming. Reminder that we will be closed for Memorial Day weekend, May 27th through the 29th. And we still have story time going on in May, and then we will take a break from story time. June. Any questions about my report?
Anybody have a question? I just want to draw people's attention to Let me see if we can find a page. Okay, page 4, third year in a row, second for best library in the Gainesville district.
Oh, yeah.
You messed up, so congratulations.
Yeah.
Third year in a row to do that is quite a testimony, a testament to the work that they
Has
have.
Cullen been first all 3 years?
Always.
Well, they're so much bigger.
There's also, I mean, the papers in Albany, so.
Yeah.
It's like in their backyard.
The backyard of the library.
Literally.
Yeah.
You can walk, yeah, yeah.
They are also under.
They are very, but,
Former
Not as
director.
big as us.
That's right.
and it's incredible, the only library so recognized in Rensselaer. And consistent, so very proud.
And that's not just Albany and Rensselaer County, that's their
Oh,
total heads.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day. We should be very proud.
Incredible staff.
Well, thank you. Any old business to discuss?
No personnel.
No person.
Personnel.
No, I don't have any. Yeah. So it'll happen before the next board meeting, if you retroactively approve those. I even have some stories, so we're moving forward, but we just haven't totally finalized everything.
Well, I appreciate how much work it is to get new staff onboarded. And really, thanks to all the staff for, I know it's been a tremendous effort. And it will change in some way. I mean, it's really critical because it's a lot of people in a small staff. So,
Yes.
you know, getting the right people in the right positions is a lot of them. So thank you. Okay, we'll go to liaison reports. Liz, what do you have to tell us about the Friends?
Hey, well, we had another successful book sale at that last weekend, well, I guess it was technically the last weekend in April because net profit was $8,161.02. So basically, the only real expenses for us were the made men. We've been using them now twice as the hefters to get the box booked in. And with all of Julianne's planning and organization, it went super fast. We gave them, there were 3 of the gentlemen that came. We gave each of them a $25 gift card to Stewart's as a tip for their efficient and very organized help to us. And then the really even nicer thing was the servers have done such a great job in terms of getting everything ready that by the end of the sale, we only filled 2 bins to go to thrift books. Whereas last time it was 10 and they were overflowing, basically. So, you know, we're really doing, Julianne and her sorters are doing just such a great job with really keeping the best stuff for us. And that's continued with, they've started this slightly higher priced selection of goods that are books that are all brand new out here on the little house that are a little bit premium price. And working on increasing the number of people that are available to do the eBay selling, because that continues to be profitable for us along with the library sales. And as we were sort of randomly talking about before, we did sell the book donation bin to the Cohoes Library for what we paid for it when we bought it from Gilderland, was it, I think? Yeah, $2,000. So, but they still need to get it apparently. But so that's money back in our coffers from. We couldn't have known that it wasn't going to be a useful tool for us. So I guess we're going to think about if there's another option, because I know there's interest in having it available 24 hours a day. So. Yeah, and then we've got our next meeting next month, and then we'll be on a break as well, summer to September. And this is, unless I can convince her otherwise, Julianne will no longer be president, so she's working very hard to find some new leadership for the board. The thing is, I do believe she is still planning on sticking around as book sale chair though, so her skills there are unparalleled. Are those 2-year appointments or? Well, no, they've been getting elected every year,
Every year.
pretty much. I mean, people have stayed in them longer than the 1 year, but. Things are good, things are good. We've still got plenty of money for
Any questions for Liz?
Nice to see y'all.
Yeah, they do. No, we'd love an update from Tom on the county.
Always, Lynn's very nicely crafted $11,000 funding request. It's an uphill battle, but you're not gonna hurt our feelings if you won't hear from us for another month or so, shoot us off another. Then it's in the process, so it's in kind of that black hole. I don't wanna be, like a smiling politician and say it's a good thing. We go back to the Jimino years where they don't wanna have anything, so we're plugging away. But you're not gonna hurt anybody's feelings by, punching it up in another month or so, another, nicely crafted letter. And we're trying to work at it from our end too. Wish I could be positive, but not at this point, but you never know. And stay with it. I mean, it's clearly a valid cause. It's needed, and $11,000 in the scheme of things isn't, a tremendous amount.
Not a million.
No, it's not a million, not yet. But stay with us on that, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, and hopefully I won't hurt anybody else's feelings. But right now in the budget process, it's in that kind of black hole, where you make the submissions, and then we'll anticipate questions from our budget office. And when I get them, as soon as I receive my sure, I won't be able to answer them correctly, so I'll be reaching out. So please stay in touch. That's about all we have. Everything else seems to be running pretty smooth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Right, Hudson, Cammy.
Okay, yeah, I didn't bring my notebook, I'm not sure why, I always have my purple notebook that's packed with all these notes, and I just left the house without it, so it's gonna have to.
You've got a good memory.
That's somewhat, but I'm gonna just a few highlights from our board meeting last week. So I am the chair of the nominating committee, and Antonio's position was filled by Debbie Carr, so she's also from his library, the Ravenna Women's Selkirk. So the two women that Tim actually asked to be on the nominating committee, we're just going to, talk via email about approving the slate, and then the slate will be presented at the annual meeting, which is June 14th, which is at Rev Hall in part of Brown's Rev Hall, down that area. Which everyone is obviously encouraged and invited to come. It's really nice. Try to make it more festive, because they haven't been face to face in a few years, so they want to make it a little bit nicer. So getting back to the expedition, I will say that they're so proud of this. They just it's like they're one of their children. So as of April 30th, 7,060 expedition visits have been recorded by our libraries. And who do you think is the top visit?
Us.
Which
Yes.
library?
Really?
No.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So I want to just open this quickly. I promise I will be fast.
Get a speed here.
But one of the desks, any desk.
I told you, see, I don't know if I can find it.
That's great.
So we're the first, and then Bethlehem was second, and then it's in here, I don't want to be scrolling through all these, the packet. But, so I was really happy about that. And, yeah, I mean, that's really going well. I can't really think of anything else that we talked about that's, so glaring or anything, but, it's a great board. I continue to say that. And, the trainings that they put on, I know Jill sends them to everyone. If you can participate, the next ones are in person, so maybe a little bit trickier to get away from home. The one that Lynn and I were part of last week or 2 weeks ago was virtual, so it's nice, have that convenience. But they're definitely worth it, and they really want more relevant trainings for everyone. So that's pretty much about it.
Are they the ones that made up the, you can use your card like through MOA or through Mid-Hudson and
Yes,
is that
they're
all
trying, they're proud of that too, so that just expands, what the offerings are. And they're looking to do another reach, but I forgot, I'm sorry, I'll update. No, they're looking, I think it's like maybe,
Southern around there.
up there, I forget where. I don't remember, but there's another region that they're looking to partner with so that we can have them available.
You must be going west.
Maybe, yes.
It's gotta be going
Yeah,
west,
yeah.
because you got southern Ed Run,
Right.
goes
Yeah, here,
and then it comes to the south.
right,
so
it's gotta go, yes,
how do you go?
that's what I'm thinking. I can report it.
Well, thanks, Tammy. You are welcome. Well, I wanna, I guess we now go into new business. I wanna start new business by strongly encouraging everyone here to go on June 14th to the Upper Hudson because our very own, what's the name? 2022 Trustee of the Year.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry about that. We will happily accept on your behalf, and we've already had some conversations with Tim about ways of we could do this. Because they're not willing to change the date for your trip to.
Reporting live from the Royal Caribbean, wherever.
We're just so thrilled, so deserved.
Yes.
That's a surprise.
And we put forward a nomination packet, which I will happily share with everyone now that it's official. Because of your service to the, we really focused on, because we said, this is not like a trustee of life, you really had to be specific. So we talked a lot about your mentorship and how it's been so important to so many trustees throughout the years, but even specifically as you begin to take on a non-presidential role, like the assistance you've offered to me and to Mary and to Charlie and to really everyone here as we, continue to work with you, taking on a role that is less in the immediate executive leadership. So thank you. Because I'm very sorry.
Well, thank you. I feel bad. I feel I should cancel my trip.
That's what Denise wants to hear.
It'd be a little expensive.
Yeah. With all we can apologize. I know Denise, so I have to hear about when we drag Michael again. Please don't be speaking.
Yeah.
But what we would like to do is we are going to honor you in the proper way. So we're having a little celebration for you in October. So then we can properly give you your thanks for this well-deserved award.
I really appreciate it.
And that will be October 29th. So please.
You'll be in California.
Yeah.
Did you check with the?
Yeah.
We're gonna be in California on the 21st.
We checked, and we made sure because of your history with travel, there were a few days of leeway between your leaving California and getting back, but.
Going to a little out there wedding.
Yes, so we made sure. but, congratulations.
Well, thank you, wow.
And then it's like a little, a big,
Well
well-deserved.
Well-deserved.
Yes, we're happy to announce it. The other new business has to do with our little free libraries. Oh.
Little thing, just keeps getting beat up.
And for some reason,
It's just the one that's
it seems to be the one, well, the one time. Both the one, since they were fixed, I think it's just
Just
one year
Janae.
Janae. And it was vandalized now for the third time in a month. And this time it involved graffiti as well as tearing off the doors and things and defacing books. So it's really discouraging. And so I don't know.
We're gonna move it.
So we're going, Jamie has already taken it out, like he did this afternoon, he went over there and took it out. So I said that we'll go through the process of getting the permissions from the Albany Rail for us to move it to another location, and I agree with Jill's wording that it just seems a little too isolated there.
It's too bad, because, you know, like if there was, I don't know if that building is going to be something, the one that they keep working on. I kept hoping that
The one
they're.
on the corner there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that actually looks,
Yeah, but I
it really
haven't,
looks pretty good.
it looks fabulous.
Very like architectural.
Yeah, well,
Right,
it's
Lloyd
old,
Martin.
Lloyd Martin.
Yeah, Kevin always liked it.
The first time.
But it is funny, because the school, you know.
But it's.
I don't know, it's a-
No
it's a
yard,
house
it's like
or-
a yard.
It's a
business.
house,
Yeah.
but it has business.
It's interesting.
It was both when I looked, this was about 7 or 8 years ago.
Should you
When it
move
first
further,
Well,
further east?
Someone had said Pondview.
oh, that's over in Castleton.
Oh, so that maybe not, or somewhere.
I would just move further east, like around where the post office is.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Pondview is where my son's doctor is.
well, that's right, Pondview, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Skoda.
Right, so.
That's really
Yeah.
a Skoda.
We'll, yeah.
I think the post office is
We'll go through the
Yeah.
process of getting the permission, and then Jamie said he just let me know where and those.
Marion had suggested, so we had 2 staff members who
Yes,
had
that's
one
nice.
to, they've been kind of monitoring. Kathy's monitoring the other one, and Marion's been monitoring this one, in addition to Tammy. And she suggested moving it to the east side of Elliott Road where the trail crosses.
Trail crosses on the east side of Elliott Road, that's where the.
You mean where the Kenzie is?
And it's more of a neighborhood where there
That
are
makes
more eyes on it.
Yeah, it's not that far.
That's not.
It's not far from where it is now, but it's a different.
The other one is, about the very end in Hampton Manor, right in the end.
Right,
And
okay.
it is right in the neighborhood houses. But
Plus,
maybe
maybe
she's
not
you
that
think
far.
that Marion might be
That's not
talking about.
It's just more neighborhoody,
Yeah.
instead of such an isolated.
Right.
Point
Yeah,
View
but it-
Road
would
or
that
something, like maybe
private
she's talking about that.
property, or would that still
I
be
wouldn't put it by the
I mean, it's on the rail trail, because the trail.
Yeah, the football field runs on this too.
Right.
If I plan
Jump on
fitness.
the road right after.
No.
It is right
That's
there,
where-
that's where
yeah.
she's talking about. That's where
Oh,
we're
okay.
thinking.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's a trail.
Well, it's really unfortunate, but,
Right.
Road there.
Breaks it up.
Yeah.
thank you for all the.
No, you're welcome, you're welcome, we'll figure out a spot.
I know some people appreciate it.
I go by it.
No.
Yeah.
People do love it. Books
Yeah.
come, books go.
Did you see on Facebook?
Yes.
There's a cute little picture.
The little girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other new business that people want to bring before the board? If not, I would entertain a motion to enter executive session and Mary, here for the purpose of discussing an employee evaluation. Somebody make that motion, that motion, Mary made the motion, any second to the motion? Okay, Michael, five.
Bye, bye.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
Wow.
up yet? Are you 40 minutes?
Education.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited.